Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Hilary De Freitas with Marketing Moms, and we are joined today by a special guest. Bernadette is traveling the world today, so we are joined by a special guest, yours truly, well, not yours truly, ours, our chef Katrina. Sorry. Making somebody's life, right? And Katrina today is going to share a lot about that because, as you will hear from her story, live events have made a great impact. So, Katrina, just go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewing audience today.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm super excited to be here, Hillary. This is awesome that you guys are having me on here. Yeah, live events. I mean, the topic that we're bringing up today is huge. Definitely a passion of mine, and what transitioned by going to my first live event. So we'll dig into a lot of that. But for most of you guys that don't know me, my name is Chef Katrina. I started in the world of internet marketing, I want to say 7 or 8 years ago now. I developed it when I kind of got a package from my mom, who introduced me to the world of network marketing. And I struggled for a while because I couldn't really market to my peers because I was in a role of leadership, and you're not supposed to like solicit your hourly employees. So it kind of put me in a situation where I had to start thinking outside the box. I had to go and find a way to get more people to join my opportunity. And at that time, social media was still being born. I remember people telling me that Facebook was a fad, that it was going to disappear. It was very similar to like Yahoo chats, and we all know that went away. So there was this whole skepticism, kind of really where the internet was turning. If you think about it, not even a decade ago, I mean, most of the social media that we have now didn't even exist. And yet today, to some extent, we can't live without it. But so I was like really on the cutting edge in terms of learning the internet marketing, especially for my network marketing opportunity. They really had no idea what to do with me because I was doing something that was so different from everybody else that was building our business and using the internet in such a way that they were just kind of really curious what was going to happen. So I got into this, floundered around again for many, many more years. Like many of us, we chase these shiny objects, like looking for one to the next to the next. And then one day, I lost my restaurant. I lost my house within 30 days of each other. Everything kind of went south. I ended up sleeping on the couch of my best friend with my dog for about 6 months, trying to regroup. And right around that time, I was actually introduced to my very first live event, beyond my network marketing company. And it was an event that I attended that literally transformed and changed everything I ever thought about internet marketing and network marketing.
Right. And what event was that?
It was an event called, actually it was an event, the only reason I could attend it is because it was here locally. And since I was being flat broke, and it was about $97, $100 US dollars to get into. And I didn't have to stay in a hotel room. I went to this event, and it was called Live the Dream. And it was the second event that this company had hosted. And it was a generic internet marketing event. So you attend it. And the idea, I think the impact it made on my business was listening to the MC at the time get up on stage and says, you're going to hear from about a dozen to 20 different internet network marketers. They're all going to get up on stage and they're all going to share how they've been building their business. But it's like, I don't want you to join every single one of them because you're not going to make any success in your business. He's like, I want you to sit back and listen to their story. And then the person that resonates with you the most, that's the person you need to stand up and go to. And that's the person that you need to find as your leader and somebody that you can follow into building your business. Do what they do and you'll get what they've got. And it was really a very moment changing for me, because then instead of just attending that event as someone that was looking to buy something, I started to attend the event as someone looking for a leader to follow, which totally changed the perspective of how I attend live events.
All right. Okay, then. And that event was how many years ago about?
Let's see. They're going into their, so 4 years ago.
All right. Okay then. And when did you start going? When did you go full time with your marketing, internet marketing?
So yeah, so I would say 4 years ago I attended this event and it kind of got the wheels spinning in my head. That's a great question. And I would say it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, May 1st. So not that long ago. So 2 years ago, May 1st, I turned in my notice for the company I was working for. For those that don't know, I used to work with Walt Disney World as a chef. It was a lot of fun. Had a great time there. Did it for 12 years, but I was ready to cut the strings and really pursue this entrepreneurial side of my personality that I knew that's what I was going to do. I knew that if I stayed working, you know, for Disney, I was never going to really have the income I wanted, the lifestyle I wanted, the freedom I wanted. And I got tired of always asking and begging for time off. That gets really wearing after a while, you know, because it just doesn't seem like your life is important anymore.
Exactly. Yes.
So yeah, so about 2 years ago, I handed in my notice and I cut the strings in a very significant way. And I tell people all the time, don't do what I did. I was in a situation where I didn't have anybody but myself to rely on. I didn't have a lot of expenses at the time. I didn't have any children. I didn't have a husband. I didn't have a lot of that thing. So what I did was I knew that if I wanted to succeed, I had to break away from that income that was still coming in, because if I didn't break away from it, then I would never truly go after what I wanted. Mm-hmm. So I cut all the strings financially. I didn't have a lot of money in my pocket, and I really forced myself to develop and grow inside this industry in 2 years fairly rapidly. I was like, and go and make mistakes along the way and whatever it is, but just go. So it was definitely a lot of ups, downs, a lot of frustrations, a lot of borrowing money, pawning things off. I think I sold almost everything in my house that really had no value to me that I could sell off. It really makes you think about where you stand in life and what's important. So, just trying to keep the food on the table, the lights on, and internet access going. So that was a lot of fun that year. A lot of stress, but a lot of fun. But, those are the journeys that a lot of us go on. But it's hard to talk about it as you're going through it, because you just feel like it's an emotional roller coaster. Mm-hmm. But it does make a very powerful story when you can tell it.
Yes. Yeah. And I heard, so how many live events have you been to since that first one?
So in the past 4 years, I've made it my purpose to go to at least to 1 or 2 events a year. And it didn't always have to be that particular event. Like, I've only been to Live the Dream once. I've been to some other events, like locally, like if there's a group of entrepreneurs that are getting together, like maybe a Rich Dad, Poor Dad conferences in town, I'll go and attend that one just because I want to be surrounded by like-minded individuals. I've done women empowerment things. I've done a lot of different events locally, and I've also created a lot of events, also live events, because I realize the power and the dynamic that happens at live events. So I would say, if you can get to a live event 1 or 2 a year, and always, if you guys are network marketers, and I don't know if you have anybody that's on here that's going to be possibly listening to that one, or even entrepreneurs, but you need to get to live events where there are like-minded people so that you can tag into that energy, tag into that vision of where you want to go. So it's really, really important that you attend live events, probably more so than just learning through the internet. You need to meet people face to face. You need that contact and that time to spend with them to really pick their brains that you don't normally get online.
Online, yes, yeah. That was that. I mean, I was going to ask, who were some of the people then that you met that really made a difference in that mindset,
Are you talking about like the first event that I went to, or even like the last event, or all together?
Even the last event, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first event, this is kind of funny. The Live the Dream, that event that I went to, I really had no idea what I'd walked into. I had known it was in town. It sounded like there was a lot of people that I should probably go meet. There was a lady named Michelle Pescalito at the time, so about 4 years ago. She was just stepping up on stage. They started nicknaming her the Facebook Queen of Marketing. So I kind of was curious, because I was like, Facebook should be interesting. I'm curious. I want to go see what she has to say, and I'll put some money aside, and if she offers a product that I can afford, I'm definitely going to, buy into that one. Mm-hmm. So Michelle definitely had a good impact on me at this event, and she probably is one of the closest ones I related to in terms of just her story and kind of where she was at. There was a lot of other people there, but there's just either an energy or something that doesn't quite rub you right. And then at this event, lo and behold, this was my first introduction to a gentleman by the name of Tim Irway. Tim Irway was at this event. He actually got up on stage and spoke. And I sat in the audience with my jaw on the ground as I'm watching Tim Irway on stage, because the only time I'd ever heard of Tim Irway was through, I have books, okay, and I have audio training, and I have tons of stuff for how to build an MLM and all this other stuff. And a lot of the training was done by Tim Irway. So I've heard his voice for years, right? So 3 years prior to this, I'd got every single training between him and Mike Dillard. I knew his voice. And then to see him up on stage, I was like, oh, wow. That's Tim Irway? That's not who I thought of him at all, There was no correlation between the two. So at this time, I'd been an elite member of this of a company called Elite Market, or of Magnetic Sponsoring, which has turned into Elite Marketing Pro. And so they had a top level membership back then, and I had been a member because I was like, this is just a brilliant idea to do. And so I was invited to this after party, and it was the first time I got to meet Mr. Tim Irway. I met Matt Crystal. I met Frenny Ceballos. I met Raymond Fong. I met all these top leaders. I had no clue who they were. It was the scariest moment in my life. I felt like I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This cannot be happening. This is wrong in every single way. But I was there. I was scared. I was by myself in this room with these people, and oh my God, I didn't know whether to run or stay.
But you stayed.
Clearly,
I stayed.
I stayed. I had a fantastic conversation with Tim Irway. He told me I was completely wrong. He questioned everything I knew about network marketing. And I went home that day, and that's how my blog came about, called The Chef Katrina. And I decided to wrap my brand around that. Mm-hmm. And I kind of still dabbled into it until I found this company called Elite Marketing Pro as a marketing platform. And then from there, it led to this crazy event. So we'll stay with live events, called the No Excuse Summit, which was wildly crazy last year. Wildly crazy.
And this was your first No Excuses event, right? Last year?
It was the first No Excuses I'd ever attended. It was their fifth event they've ever put together. I knew they've been having them for years because I've always got the invites to them. And, it just never seemed, the year before there was no money. Then it was before that, it was work was always in the way. There just never seemed to be an opportune time to attend this No Excuse Summit. I made some great excuses up. I did.
But last year there were no excuses. So what did it take for you to get there?
Oh, okay. So as I mentioned, last year was definitely a roller coaster ride of pawning everything. I had really made it a point with Elite Marketing Pro that whatever affiliate commissions that year were pretty much either supporting me or going back into this company, this opportunity to learn and get excited about this. And I knew No Excuses was coming up. And I had made sure that I was working really hard to try to get the money together to go to that, because I knew it wasn't going to be inexpensive. I knew it was going to cost me about $500 or so, give or take, to get to this event. So I was like, okay. The offer came through. I saw there was an opportunity to bump up to VIP. There was a 3-payment plan. And I was like, I'll figure this out. I will absolutely, I don't know how I'm getting the money to make 3 payments. It was, and afford to go to this event as a VIP, but I will figure it out. If I have to pawn, bribe, whatever, I will continue to do that. I did. You guys have I literally sat in here and I was like, oh my gosh, can I do this? I'm like, I got just enough to make the first payment in my account, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how to pay rent. And that's literally the thought process. I'm like, but this is more important than rent. So I hit the button, and I made that first investment to go to No Excuses. And then I really worked hard to figure out affiliate marketing and figure out a way to get EMP to pay for that No Excuses ticket, which it actually did do. From there, I had to get to No Excuses. I live in Florida. I had to get to Vegas. There's about 3,000, there's about 2,600 miles somewhere in there to travel. So I planned it around a little bit of my parents were going to maybe need my help. They lived in Nevada. They lived like 4 hours away from Vegas. Luckily, I had a cousin that lived in Vegas. So I got in my car with my dog because I knew I was going to be gone for a while. I was gone for, mid-May, all of June, and I didn't come back till mid-July. So about 2 months I was out on the road, me and my dog, traveling around the United States. So I get to my parents' house. I actually had another speaking engagement. So not only was I in Vegas for No Excuses, the week before I was actually there as a speaker for a home-based travel agency forum, speaking and training on blogging and branding. So I had 2 reasons to be there. So the one I had to be there for was I was teaching blogging, and the next reason I was going to go and be a student of No Excuses.
Right.
So so drive across. I have no AC in my car, so it's it's beginning of June. I have no AC in my car. My dog is in the back. I have no money except for just for gas. There's no real money for food. So I had brought snacks with me. So I'm eating I brought bottles of waters. I have apples and sandwiches, and I'm stopping to visit family along the way. So that kind of helped out with finances and stuff like that. I do my speaking event, which goes okay. It wasn't fantastic, but it was okay. And I looked at my mom and dad and said, I got to go back down again, and I got to get to No Excuses. I said, I'm really excited about this event. So I head down to No Excuses. I'm staying with my cousin because I can't afford the hotel room. I'm a VIP. I'm really still stretched for money. It's not pretty at all. And I'm, VIP, and I'm going to get there. So I attend this event. I sit down. I meet some amazing people. I have Vitaly sitting next to me. And I don't know if you guys know who Vitaly is, but he's an amazing email copywriter. I'm surrounded by just leaders and just these amazing group of people around me. And I just start listening to this event. And interesting enough, during this event, I made contact with people I didn't know were it's like being surrounded by the rich and famous of internet marketing and not knowing who they are. So it'd be like going to the Oscars and not recognizing all your movie stars, right? They're really, really important. You don't know how they, fit into it, in generation by, you don't recognize some of the, the passing of certain leaders and the impact they've had on this industry. So I was literally striking up conversations with people I had no clue were massive important in this thing. And I was like, I had no idea, no idea. But, it was definitely a struggle to get to No Excuses, but it was invaluable to go, and especially to go as a VIP, because there's something about, because I know one of your questions that you sent me was, who did you meet while you were there? Mm-hmm. Or something like that. There wasn't a single person I didn't meet while I was there. I made it a point that if I was going to go to this event, I was going to shake hands, talk to, interact, help out, and be as much in the moment as I could there. EMP is a huge contributor to No Excuses, and No Excuses uses their training and mentorship platform kind of to help boost people through and get them really started. Right. So what I found out is that I know a lot about EMP because I'd been a member of it for so long. So I know how to put together a sales funnel. I know how to put together a capture page. I knew how to do email integration. I'd done it enough and seen them do it that I was just I'm like, here, let me help people out. I actually went in with the idea of I want to help other people become successful while they're here. So it wasn't necessarily what I was learning. It was helping other people learn and get success so that this could be a bigger event.
Right. Yeah.
So I went to study hall, which was there. And so I attended study hall every day. I was either in there in the morning or in the evening. I missed the Elite Marketing Pro VIP party, but I had 10 minutes left. Tim's texting me. He's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in study hall. He's like, get over here. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I was helping some guys out in study hall. They needed some help. He's like, He's like, thank you. So it was surreal. Like I've got Tim Irway texting me, telling me to make it to a VIP party when I'm sitting here trying to help people out. Like that's, yeah, I'm like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I'm not gonna have a drink while I can be doing this. So it just became an interesting event of just being there and just being of service to everybody, wanting to help out. And you were a prime example too, because if I'm not mistaken, for those that don't know, Hillary did attend this event, not live, but do it via live stream. And on the first day that we kicked off No Excuses at 7:30 in the morning, Hillary is texting us saying, oh my gosh, why can't I get feed? I can't get on here. Like this started, and Bernadette and I are both like, doesn't start till 9? Like you're early? Like there's nothing we can do at this point. But it was so cool because even with Hillary attending live stream and Bernadette and I sitting there in the audience, Hillary had a voice at the event. Because if she had a question, either Bernadette or I could actually ask those questions live and get back to her with those answers. So it doesn't matter whether, it does matter. It's really important to go to live events, but if you can't, you know, Hillary had an in and still kind of got that excitement of being at the live events and seeing her questions get asked live at the events because she had people at the live events for her. And I want to know, actually, I'm going to ask you, was that helpful to you to have that in terms of not being able to attend the event live, but to have somebody there that could be your voice?
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was tremendous because it's almost like you got bumped to the top of the line. Because even though, yes, they had everything in place for those attending live stream to ask questions, and yes, eventually they'd get answered. It was like, to me, it was phenomenal. I sent a question, and Bernadette, I'm watching on my computer, Bernadette raised her hand. This is a question from Hillary, and it really, it made me feel like I was there. Yeah. I really felt included. You know?
Yeah. But
I don't know if before I know we have a couple of viewers, and I don't know if they have any questions. If you do have questions, you could just click the 9 little squares there to ask your questions. All right, as we continue.
Okay. So yeah. So what else? What other questions do you have for me about the event? I mean, that story I could go on forever with.
I mean, that story has covered like so much, but what I want to, I mean, because your journey of getting to No Excuses, I think that it really shows that, you know, if you have a goal in mind, you will move mountains to do what you have to do. You will move mountains. But I want to know, what was one of the biggest things that well, 2 questions. What is the biggest thing that you saw from the attendees, those people, in terms of like their aha moments? What was one of the biggest things that you saw from them? And then what was your biggest takeaway personally for your business?
I would say the biggest, sitting in that audience, I will tell you right now that we had a diverse experiences that happened. We had people for the first time that were generating leads. I think Gary Williams came up to me at one point on Sunday and said, I just generated my first 20 leads since yesterday, right? So I grabbed him by the arm. I locked arms with him. I walked him over to Tim Irway, and I'm like, oh my God, Tim, you've got to hear this story. And I had him just tell him, like, right then and there. It was either Gary or Mike. I can't remember which one. I'm going to get yelled at for this when they see this. But it was just so good to see these people. And we had people that were learning what a sales funnel was for the first time. Like watching them go through that process of creating a capture page, creating the sales funnel, having the offer there, and then actually putting it out there and it's in perfect form and still generate leads was such an amazing breakthrough for some of these people. And there were a lot of people that did their homework ahead of time. And they went to this event and they locked in and they got what they wanted out of it and they went home. But I kid you not, like, it was truly amazing. I had people crying. I had people, like, whatever. I told people when I was teaching them, I said, if I'm teaching you this, your job now is to go teach somebody else. Like, you have to go tell somebody else how to do this also. Yeah. So being there live and having people witness other people's success in the audience, not from the speakers, but in the audience, and hear people step up and say, this is what I'm doing, it validated a lot of people to be there. So I would say, yes, that the biggest breakthrough the audience has was the learning of the marketing mindset of building a business, which was really, really important. My biggest takeaway for me from this event was that I apparently knew what I was doing, but I was so afraid of making mistakes still. And when you get validation from top leaders and they start saying thank you for what you're doing, I had to leave that event in full gear. So when I left at the end of June, I traveled most of July. And when I got home towards the end of July, I drove 16 hours. I got home, and the first thing I did was, because I had solid internet services, I got online and I started blogging the events. Like I went straight into work mode, because I wasn't going to let the momentum and the excitement stop me or keep me from taking action. I went straight into a mode of like, okay, what can we do next? What can we do next? And that was my biggest takeaway. It's like, you've got to ride that wave of momentum, and you've got to keep it going, and you can't just get home and then have life interfere. You've got to take the action behind it.
Yeah. Would you say that's probably the biggest thing that stops people? It's like they leave the event, all the excitement, they get home, and then all of a sudden it's like they stop. They just don't continue with that action.
Yeah. You know why? And it's because you're not surrounded by peers. You'll get home and there's negativity, and you go to work and there's negativity, and there's people that says you can't do this. So that positive atmosphere, and it really is. I've never been to, and I'm going to say this and it's probably going to come out wrong, but even network marketing events, like going to my MLM event, does not have the same excitement and positive energy that I find by going to these marketing events and these, mindset type of events, because they're just so geared to help you get forward. Like, at the end of the day, they want nothing more than just to get you in action. They want your success. The people that are up on stage probably want you to have success more than you want it yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I felt that even though I was in front of a computer. Yeah. Go
ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
I'm like, if they could find a way to implant all their knowledge into your head straight from them, like if they could put like and it just drained out and it worked, I mean, they would probably do it. But these guys and girls both have spent a lot of time, a lot of hours investing in their business, learning this business, making those mistakes. And though they can show you the biggest shortcut to them, you're still going to make mistakes, because you're you. Your life is different. You guys are not duplicatable to that extent. But yeah, you've got to be able to stay in motion. You've got to be almost self-motivated, or grab in with a team of individuals. Like, make contacts at this event and be like, okay, you're my accountability partner. We're going to check in every couple of weeks, and like really make that a point. But you have to commit to the process too.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think from the time I entered the world of internet marketing, it's because of the people that I've surrounded myself with that they've kept me going. They've kept me going. Yeah. So, well, we are just shy of 2:00, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I just want to say thank you to you, Chef Katrina, for joining us Marketing Moms today. Although Bernadette wasn't able to jump on, you were fabulous. All right.
Thank you. I really appreciate being on here. If you guys have any questions, I know it's the last couple of minutes, but if you guys really have any questions about why it's so important to attend live events, I mean, ask. I am an open book. I have no problem sharing what the experience has been. It's just been a journey.
Yeah. Yep. So any viewers, if we have questions, go ahead now. We got 60 seconds. But it has been great. And for those who, if you, the viewers, I know some viewers are already in the Elite Marketing Pro community. We hope to see you at No Excuses in June. And if you have never been to a live event, not even your network marketing event, and you want to join us at No Excuses this year, we'll be posting links when we reshare this video. All right. So that has been our Marketing Moms Trinidad for this week. See you next week. Same time, same channel. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.